Now then, we're going to do a horse story today. It's about Sam, who was one of the first horses we had at the North Coast Heavy. Oh, go on, right, Milo, come on, Milo, come right. We've got Milo here. He's got to help. All right, he's helping with this story. There's a bit of Dalmatian on the ground. Milo, shush. Quiet, we're doing this story. All right. Now, Sam was one of the first horses we had at the Northcote Heavy Horse Centre, and after a few years, he had this. Thank you, Milo. He had this illness. He isn't a puppet. He's off now. He was ill. He was getting older, and Julian, our vet, he gave me a blood test to see if he could find out what was wrong with him, and he was deficient in some vitamins. So one was vitamin C, which was quite easy to cope with, because we had a very friendly greengrocer and fruit merchant in the town. Roy had a fruit and veg shop in Spilsby, and he very kindly gave us apples and oranges and things that were, not good enough to sell, because a bit past their best, for Sam to eat, because he ate a lot. He loved those. The other thing was vitamin B, and then we thought, well, vitamin B, what are we going to do about that? And then, because B for beer, isn't it? It's got iron in it and that kind of thing. So we contacted our local brewery, Batemans, who Sam had actually done work for in a promotion in Lincoln with their dray. And so George Bateman very kindly agreed to let Sam have the beer he needed to cope with his problem. And of course it's stout was what he needed, really, like Guinness. They used to brew stout, but because like a lot of factories and people producing things, they don't produce the same thing every day. So the stout was something that they only produced every now and again, and so there were problems getting the stout from time to time, and during the time Sam needed it. And of course then when he was having this stout ration each day, his mates wanted some as well, so that caused a bit of a problem, because when Sam did work at Young's Brewery in Wandsworth, as you probably know, and horses working at the breweries normally get a beer ration. It's good for their health, as in fact NHS patients, when Ruth was a student in the a long time ago, doctors actually would subscribe stout, probably, to help aid your recovery. It was healthy and good for you, in moderation, of course. Right, I hope you enjoy this story. It's all about Sam and his beer ration. Here we go. Thanks to Batemans Brewery. This story is called Sam and the Milk Stout. It's another tale from Northcote Heavy Horse Centre in It's a Rum Life Part 2, 1998 to 2008. This episode came about towards the end of Sam's life. He had been feeling somewhat off colour for a short while, and our vet Julian fixed up for a blood test. The results showed that he needed more vitamins, particularly C and B. Vitamin C wasn't a problem, as we had a good friend in Roy with his fruit and veg shop in Spilsby, the nearest town to us. Out-of-date fruit was directed our way, and Sam found he loved oranges, even the outside skin too. Now, vitamin B posed more of a problem in its natural form, and lots of it for a horse who weighed around 1800 weight. Then of course the penny dropped. Beer. Ruth remembered the time when hospital patients had been described a personal allowance of milk stout, full of vitamin B, and the ideal pick-me-up for those under the weather. From time to time in the past, we had been able to help our local family brewery, Batemans, with jobs involving heavy horses. We contacted Mr. George, the boss, who was only too pleased to help out. "How much do you think he needs?" was the leading question. Working out his daily water intake, we decided he would require between 1 and 2 gallons of milk stout a day. The brewery, like most manufacturing premises, made different products on different days, and milk stout was not generally in huge demand. For those of you who know about the modern light beers and lager, Milk stout is similar to Guinness or Mackerson. It is dark or virtually black and, well, milky. We collected a couple of 5-gallon plastic containers on the first journey. Sam lived with his colleagues in a long open-sided shed separated by movable poles and gates. All the horses could see each other and, if sharing the same hay feed, touch each other, but could not steal each other's special rations. This did not stop a commotion that first night that Sam had his personal allowance of milk stout. The smell was distinctive and appealing to all the other horses within smelling distance. Not long ago, of course, heavy horses working in brewery stables did have their daily beer ration, and from time to time some of the other byproducts too. Sam just loved his beer. Julian thought it would take 3 to 4 weeks to get him back in full health, and in the end it took 2 months. Once we had started him on his diet, it had to be kept going, and gradually he drank the brewery almost dry. The critical time came when supplies were getting low. Most of the regular production, of course, went straight into bottles for sale. Fortunately, a 20-gallon barrel was found lurking in a corner, and Sam was able to continue drinking his way back to health. Not being backward in the publicity stakes, we did inform the local press of our patient and his requirements. The next thing we knew was a phone call from the Daily Express, who were actually on their way from London at that very moment to take a special photograph. It was an actual day that we were open to the public. When they arrived, and we had brought in Mr. George Bateman, the brewery owner, to be pictured delivering the latest 5-gallon container to Sam himself. The photograph was superb and took a whole page in the Daily Express the very next day. Unfortunately, it was one that we did not manage to save. Sam recovered well and was somewhat disappointed when his treat had to come to an end. There we are, that was about Sam and his beer ration. The nice bit at the end was when I think it was the Daily Express came along and took a picture of George giving Sam some of his beer ration, and it made a full page in the Daily. You know, it was good. Batemans was so kindly, it didn't charge us anything for this beer. You know, it was ever so kind of them, and it must have cost a bob or two over 2 or 3 months. You know, a gallon a day. Big horse. I mean, gallons nothing to a horse like that. They would drink, you know, gallons and gallons of water every day anyway, not just like us. So there we are. That was a nice story, and don't forget, if you like it, give us a like and think about subscribing to the channel. It does help the channel to grow, and probably share the story with your friends. And then, now, Sammy does have his own storybooks. They're designed for children, 4 to 8 years old, thereabouts. You can find them on our website. There's 2. There's Sammy Goes North and Sammy's New Adventure, and it tells you about him leaving the brewery and going to live in Lincolnshire, and then what life is like on the farm compared with what it's like in the city. So there's 2 stories. Now you can listen or read them as an audio story, no pictures and everything, and download it to a phone or whatever you like, or you can download the book. So you'll find either or both on our website, and the link's coming up here. Now, when these books were first produced in 1992, it was found they were very good as an aid to learning to read, because the audio story is word for word the same as the book, so you can run the 2 together, listen and read and whatever. So you can download everything, you know, whatever you like. So have a good look and see if it suits you, and thanks for being with us this time. Bye bye.